I've been doing this for 34 years and never had an incident. Well, I pulled into the clean out area to clean out the box after I got done dumping in the paver. And after I got dumped, after I cleaned the box out, I took off and thought I put the box down. And I hit the telephone, I hit the electric wires, tore the telephone wires out, and plus cable wires. And I was very, very lucky because those wires fell right across the truck. I had all the safety equipment I needed to keep me safe, but for some reason I didn't pay heed to them. And I compromised myself, the company, and thank God there wasn't anybody standing beside me because they'd been hurt or worse. I didn't take a risk assessment before I left the place, which I should have done. I did not pay any attention to the flashing light inside the cab, which I should have done. And it just, everything went wrong. And the only thing I can say to the other drivers is, the safety equipment is there to protect us. It's not there to slow us down. Well, I mean, what difference would a few seconds made if I hadn't, if I had followed the safety procedures? What difference would a few seconds made? My truck was in the shop for service, so I had to take a different truck. And I wasn't quite used to it, but that makes no difference because if I'd have followed safety rules, it still wouldn't have happened. I pulled into the paver, dumped my load, and proceeded to the clean out area, where I raised the box up, cleaned the box, and got set to leave. Thought I put the box down. And but hit drove forward for 90 seconds. And hit the telephone wires, electric wires, and cable wires. I broke the pole. Now I realize this was a different truck, but that is still no excuse for what happened. If I'd have followed safety procedures, it would have never happened. I was very lucky because the wires fell across the truck, which could have been fatal. And thank God there wasn't nobody standing right next to me. I've been doing this for 34 years and never had an incident. And I just got so used of doing things like that that I just wasn't thinking. I should have paid more attention to the safety equipment in the truck so things like this wouldn't happen. But being a different truck is no excuse. Like I said, if I'd have paid more attention to the safety equipment in the truck, this wouldn't have happened and I wouldn't be here. You have a flashing amber light inside your cab. It tells you that box is up. It tells you you should not move until that box is down. Unless you're in the paver, and then you've got your ground personnel there telling you about the wires above you and when to put that box down. But when you're at the clean out area, you only got yourself to tell, you've only got yourself to tell yourself that that box is up. And when you get back into that truck and see that flashing light, you've got to pay attention to the safety equipment inside your vehicles. Because if you don't, the same thing is going to happen. I don't care who you are, whether you worked 5 years or 34 years, it's going to happen. Yes, there was a swimming pool. Thank God it was in the early morning, so there was nobody in the pool. But wires ended up laying about a foot above the pool. And like I say, I'm just thankful it was in the early morning and no kids or anything were in that pool. And that's, you know, that's what I meant when I said thank God there was nobody standing beside the truck or in the pool. Otherwise, you know, even if it was a foot above the pool, I can just see some kid reaching up and grabbing that wire. And that's, yeah, that's a picture I have now. What if there'd been a kid in that pool? No, I can't get that out of my mind. I'm glad you brought that up. It's just, it's a picture, it'll always be there. You have to stay focused of your job and what you're doing. I'm talking a lot of things could happen. It could, monetary, we aren't going to, that's not most important. What my fear is loss of life. I keep thinking about if there had been kids in that pool. And I keep, you know, thinking about if somebody had been standing near the truck. You've got to pay attention to your safety equipment you have on your truck. The company has spent a lot of money to keep us safe, but you've got to use these safety tools that you have. You can't forget it for like 90 seconds, because if you do, somebody's going to get hurt or killed. Can't say enough how much importance this safety equipment is for a driver. It's very important. You know, my wife is a great lady. I'd wake her up and she'd get up with me, sure, and we'd talk about it. And I just, you know, it just kept running over it just kept running over and over and over in my mind. It wasn't a good week.
Sure.
But at least I'm sleeping again. So the only thing I keep thinking about is what if there been kids in that swimming pool? Track forms. They're a good thing. They're a good thing. They would tell if there's a problems on the job or a risk assessment. It'll tell the fellows back here what needs to be done. And also, a risk assessment, I mean, a track form will keep your mind fresh on the hazards that could happen and would happen if you didn't keep these track forms. No, track forms are a good thing. The driving situation will change every day. It doesn't, you know, matter if it's going to the job, on the job, or coming back from the job. Something different will happen every day. It's you just you just gotta, you know, you'll notice everything every day. It's not that hard to fill out a track form every day. Assessing risk never stops. So that's a reason I feel now that a track form is very important. Oh, good. You had that running?
Yeah.